Hello again, friend. We're continuing our series on 21 benefits of prayer, and the next benefit is prayer connects one with right people. Prayer connects one with right people. Think about it for a minute. Have you ever have you ever known anybody to meet a person and then all of a sudden their character changed and everything went sour? Or on the other end of the spectrum, you've known someone that had met someone and it brought the best out of them. Well, I'm here to tell you that prayer can bring divine connections. And what we need to understand is that, even though that everyone has faults, Galatians 6 declares this: Brethren, if a man be overtaken in a fault, you which are spiritual, restore such an one in the spirit of meekness, considering yourself, lest you also be tempted. So everyone, there's no quote unquote perfect person. Everyone has faults, but there are divine connections, and God will, through prayer, connect you with right people. We find in Luke chapter number 6, verses 12 through 13. In your spare time you can read it. You find that Jesus went to a mountain to pray all night. And after a prayer that next day, the Bible says that he came, and it was then that he chose his 12 disciples. Notice, divine connection. He was divinely connected to people that he was going to have surrounding his life for the next 3 years. But it came after he prayed. He spent all night in prayer, and he was led. Now, even though he had chose 12, may I tell you that all of them, they weren't all angels all the time. In fact, he said, as it related to Judas, I've chosen 12 of you, and one of you is a devil. May I tell you, all of your connections, even though you're divinely connected, everyone will not be a saint. Sometimes it may take one where Satan enters in to cause you to arrive at your destiny. Because remember, when Judas kissed him, all of a sudden now his destiny went in motion. Jesus said and called him friend, even though he was an enemy, but yet he said friend. And so that's what I'm saying about divine connections. And we want relationships for our children. We want them to have the right husband. We want them to have the right, even when they're going to college or they may be going to school, you want them to have the right professor, the right teacher. You want them to be around the right quote-unquote friends. Peer pressure is very, very bad today, and it only takes one person that can cause you to end up in jail or end up in prison, or on, like I said, on the flip side of the coin, end up in a good, heading on a good path. And so we need to understand the importance of praying for divine connections. Praying for divine connections. And so I think all through the Bible we find that Elijah, his mentor, Elijah's mentor was Elijah. We find that Ruth had Naomi. See, those were all good relationships, and Timothy had Paul, and those were good relationships that caused them to excel in the things of God. And may I tell you that that's what godly connections will do. They will cause us to excel for the purpose and for the plan that God has for our life. Thank you very much.